While the fourth commandment deals primarily with the rights and the responsibilities and the duties of children to their parents and parents to their children, the fourth commandment is broader than the nuclear family. The fourth commandment includes those who have authority in public life, an authority that is to be exercised wisely and prudently. Civil authority should be exercised in a spirit of service to others. It is measured morally in terms of its divine origin, its reasonable nature, and its specific object. No one can command or establish what is contrary to the dignity of persons and the natural law. Civil authority is to express a just hierarchy of values so as to facilitate the exercise of freedom and responsibility by all. Those with authority should practice distributive justice wisely, disdain personal benefit at the expense of the community, and respect the fundamental rights of the human person, especially the poor. Those who have authority over others in society should exercise their authority wisely and should see themselves in a paternal or a maternal role in regard to taking care of the needs of others, especially the poor, and especially those whose voice is limited, those who cannot speak for themselves, those who really do need the care of the wider society. Citizenship should be granted according to the requirements of the common good. Legitimate authority and proportionate reasons are required for citizenship to be revoked. When we speak of citizenship, we speak about our participation in the wider society, and one's citizenship gives a person roots, deep and lasting roots within a particular country. A citizenship should never be revoked except for the most serious of reasons. Those who are subject to authority should respect those in authority as representatives of God, who has made them stewards of His gifts. Loyalty includes the right and duty to offer just criticism. Citizens have the duty to work with those in authority in a spirit of truth, justice, solidarity, and freedom. Citizenship entails fulfilling one's role in the life of the community. We have many responsibilities within society, including paying taxes, including voting, including taking our part in juries. We have many responsibilities that should never be neglected because of the fourth commandment. We are called to participate well in our family, our nuclear family, our extended family, and in our wider human society. Prosperous nations should welcome foreigners and protect their rights. Immigration may be subject to juridical consideration. Immigrants have a duty to respect their new country and to shoulder civic responsibilities. Citizens have an obligation in conscience not to obey the directives of civil authorities if they are contrary to the demands of the moral order, to the fundamental right of persons, or to the teachings of the gospel. We must obey God rather than men, and think of how many of the martyrs of the church offered civil disobedience. They chose to suffer and to die rather than to obey an unjust law, a law that would have them blaspheme, a law that would have them worship a false god, as it were. Armed resistance to civil authority is only permitted when all of the following conditions are met. There is grave, certain, and prolonged violation of fundamental rights. All other means of redress have been exhausted. Such resistance will not provoke worse disorders. There is a well-founded hope of success, and it is impossible reasonably to foresee any better solution. The Church does envision a time when a society might break down and where even armed resistance is necessary. Certainly the hope is that this is not a regular part of life, but when the circumstances suggest, when a regime becomes more evil than it is good, and there are no other means of attaining a desired overthrow of that regime, then armed resistance is appropriate and permitted. The political community and the church is treated by the Catechism. Every institution is inspired by a vision of man and his destiny and man's preeminence over things. Only the divinely revealed religion has clearly recognized man's origin and destiny in God, the Creator and Redeemer. The Church invites political authorities to measure their judgments and decisions against this inspired truth about God and man. Societies that reject this invitation often reject as well objective criteria of good and evil. When they do so, history shows that they arrogate to themselves an explicit or implicit totalitarian power over man and his destiny. The Church stands as a safeguard of the rights of the human person, and the Church is throughout history shown to be tireless in speaking up against violations of human rights at the hands of political authorities. The Church is the sign and the safeguard of the transcendent character of the human person. She encourages political freedom. She passes moral judgment on political matters when human rights or the salvation of souls demand it. And she uses only means that are in accord with the gospel.